Hello, I'm one goofy dude, and for the last week and a half, I've been playing Whiterime Ridge, looking for some of the trophies out here. Being a new player, I really haven't gotten to learn all the different maps, so I figured I'd go one at a time, and I really wanted to focus on this map because I really enjoy some of the animal models like the bison, um, and the dall sheep, of course, which are one of my favorite species. But I had spawned at the Southern Lodge, and as soon as I left there, I pretty much got a call. And I looked straight down the very first hill, and lo and behold, I see this moose down there at the bottom. Now, he's got a score that goes up to 220, which I don't think he's going to quite make it all the way up there. But I did shoot a 190s about I don't know, maybe a week ago over on Red Feather Falls, and this moose absolutely blows him out of the water. So I have a little bit of faith, but I've only ever shot two 200 plus moose so far. So I'm not sure. I guess he could be high 190s, but I mean those paddles, it just looks like he's gonna make it. So let's pull it up here and let's see. 211 score, so that's official. He is now my third moose above the 200 mark. And I think we're going to go ahead and get a trophy shot of him, even though my other two moose are bigger than him, and technically he doesn't quite reach the tax size that I'd like. But we do have a lot of empty large plaques on the walls, and it would be nice to have a couple placeholders in there just to make the lodge feel like it's not as empty. Uh, and I mean, of course, we're going to be playing a lot of this, so we can always go ahead and replace them at some point. But with that being said, it's really still not a bad way at all to start off a hunt. Moving along, I'd fast traveled over here because I'm trying to finish up my sitka deer missions, and I'm on the last one, which is to hunt the Wendigo next to the waterfall. As I'm making my way over to him, I end up seeing this guy coming through the trees, and he's got the max score estimate. He's got all three tines popping up, and looks like an absolute beast of a sitka deer. I normally don't see sitka deer, so I'm not too good at judging the score. Most of them that I've seen that got all three tines in kind of the max range have ended up being somewhere in the neighborhood of 95 to 99. Nothing too great. I've shot one other that was above 100. He was 102. So I'm not too good at estimating what they're gonna score, but it definitely looks like he's got some length on these tines here, and I'm really hoping that he's gonna make it over 100. And he definitely did. At 105, he's my new personal best. So we'll go ahead and get a trophy shot of him here and send him over to the lodge. It's a little bit unfortunate that the lighting's not quite the way I want. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so obviously we're going to be dealing with some of the shadows here. But fortunately, there's quite a few filters, and so far what I found to work best is whenever you're taking an early morning trophy shot, if it's in the shadows, you can go ahead and throw on that chroma filter, and it usually ends up turning out really nicely. That simple little adjustment to the lighting makes all the difference in the world. And here we go again at another attempt at getting the Wendigo. Unfortunately, either I make it all the way over to him and I've ended up shooting the wrong sitka deer, or I'm not quite making it to him because I'm running into other animals that I end up tracking down. And I seen this guy running away from me, and I could tell that he was really nice just as he was running away, but I didn't know how nice until just then when I spotted him. And you can usually tell with the dall sheep because it looks like their horns, it's almost like they're wrapping all the way around their head right before they come back out. So I know he's at bare minimum going to be scoring in the mid 180s, and hopefully a little bit more. I've shot in quite a few really nice dall sheep in the last week and a half, including a couple that ended up scoring over 200. So I got some faith. I don't think he's going to be quite over the 200 mark. But yeah, at 194, he's still a really solid dall sheep. So we'll go ahead, get a trophy shot of him here. I don't think I'm gonna taxidermize him. I've already got 2 that are over 200. So I'm really trying to save the space for ones that are a little bit larger or even close to the same size as the ones I got. And then as we move on here, I'm actually on a different part of the map right now, and I'm hunting for polar bear. And maybe the occasional Arctic fox if I happen to see a max estimate one that comes along. But seeming how I haven't really done much predator hunting, I wanted to go ahead and see if I couldn't get me something that was worthwhile. I hadn't had too much luck. I ran up and down the coast on a couple different runs, and I just really wasn't seeing anything. But I went out to this peninsula, and it seems like there's quite a few here, and on each of the different runs where I've made it all the way over here, it seems like this is a really good area for the polar bear. So we'll go ahead and see what this one scores. 30 is kind of the recommended tax level, but I already got a 29 a little bit earlier, so unless he breaks the 30 mark, we probably won't tax him. Yeah, he scores 29. He actually is better than the one I got earlier, but I think we'll go ahead and hold off on that for now and wait and hope we get a better one. So this was an incredibly frustrating hunt, but through the magic of editing, I won't take you through all the turmoil that I had to go through in order to get him, because he'd ended up running up on top of that mountain, and I spent forever trying to get up there and I couldn't figure out how, so I ended up just having to kind of wait and hope that he would eventually make his way down. He ended up circling about halfway around the mountain, and you can see him right there. He's another big sheep that's got those horns that are wrapping around, so I'm pretty excited to finally get him. This one was definitely a long time coming. It's not too often that I have to track animals all the way around the map. Usually I'm pretty good about making sure if I have spooked them once that I don't spook them again. But at least we got him down now, using a series of perfectly timed and well executed shots. So we'll go ahead and get him now. But I'm just so glad that this was over. This has been such a pain to get this guy. And the other thing that I was fighting was, I don't know what caused it. It is a little bit later in the evening, and I've been hunting on here for most of the day. I started out at 7 in the morning. But some of the tracks started disappearing, which just added to my frustration of trying to find them. But eventually, of course, we did catch up again, and like I said, they might have been poorly placed, but they definitely got the job done. And as is with everything in life, the harder it is, the more memorable it will become. And this is definitely one of those hunts that I don't think that I'm going to be forgetting anytime soon. And that'll bring us to our final clip on Whiterime for the week. And I was hunting bison, and I had spawned at the southern outpost and ran all the way across the plains until you came up on the furthest river. I believe it's to the west, and I managed to get a spot on this guy, and he's got the max weight estimate, max score estimate, but I'm not too good at judging by their horns, so we'll just take a shot here, and looks like we might have gotten lung. We'll place a follow-up on him just to make sure that he goes down quickly. Because a lot of times if you just kind of wing them, they can end up running quite a ways. But he did go down right there, so we'll head on over there and pick him up. He's got a lot of promise considering he was in the max weight and the max score estimate. So we'll just go ahead and see. And at 124, he is my new personal best for bison, and I could not be happier. So before anything happens, we're going to go ahead and make sure to get a trophy shot of this guy and taxidermize him before anything wonky can happen. Although in the last couple 100 hours of playing this game, I've had very minimal issues. When you're talking about your personal best, I think it's always best to err on the side of caution and make sure to get that trophy shot and get him thrown into the lodge before anything could potentially go wrong. And if you've made it this far, I would just like to say thank you for tuning in. And if you liked the video, consider dropping a like and subscribe.
And until next time, we'll see y'all a little while ago.